To bleed your power steering system on your Buick Enclave or similar system, basically you're going to need to leave the back wheel on the ground, raise the front wheel off the ground about 24 inches. So that's approximately about 24 inches. Fill it up with fluid. By the way, if you change the rack and pinion, use dextron 6 transmission fluid. That's what's recommended. Fill it up with fluid below the neck because you might get some overflow. And you're going to turn the ignition on, turn the steering wheel back and forward from end to end. You're going to have to do this several times until all the bubbles work its way out from the reservoir. Turn the key on, don't start. And then turn your wheel from end to end several times until all the bubbles work its way out the reservoir. Whenever the fluid goes low, you top it off with more fluid. Keep that level up so you don't suck air into the system. And you're going to do this several times. And go check on your fluid. Check fluid level and look for bubbles. Top it off if it's low and keep turning that steering back and forth. You're going to keep turning the steering back and forth until your level don't go down anymore. Next, you're going to want to use a brake bleeding vacuum tool and pull it down to 20 inches of vacuum and hold it there for about 5 minutes. This one is not working, so I'm going to substitute. Okay, here's a crazy setup I got here. I don't have nothing to fit on that reservoir. You could probably buy one of these and drill a hole in it and make it an adapter tool, or you go buy another special tool. They sell special tool to connect there. But I'm not doing that today. So I have this brake pressure pot bleeding kit, and I'm using parts from there to make my connect to seal that off. Then connect a hose to my AC vacuum gauge because I want to read 20 inches of vacuum here. Then I connect it to an old vacuum pump that I have sitting around, and I have a valve to turn it on and off here. And we're gonna turn the pump on. Okay. Let me see where the vacuum gauge is. That's 20. It's more than 20. I'm gonna close off the valve here. All right. Okay, so it's not 30. So we'll keep it right there. All right, and we're gonna keep this. It's got to hold vacuum for about 5 minutes because you're gonna need to go turn the power steering. You're gonna turn the ignition switch on and start turning the steering back and forth all the way to the end, all the way to the end. We're gonna do this for about 5 minutes to try to get all the air to come back up into the reservoir and out of the power steering system. This is the procedure for bleeding the power steering system on this vehicle. It's crazy stuff. I'm spending a lot of time doing this. Not worth it. Okay, so it's holding 20 inches of vacuum pretty good here. I'm gonna go ahead and start turning that wheel for 5 minutes. Okay, ignition key. Ignition is on, don't start the vehicle. And now you're just going to keep turning this thing back and forth for 5 minutes. All the way to the end. Again. Then all the way to the other end. And you're going to keep doing this for 5 minutes. Try to help to get all that air out of the power steering system. Okay, so after turning this steering back and forth for about 5 minutes, right after that I went to lunch and I let this thing sit here under vacuum so it can purge all of the air out of the fluid. So that way we'll try to eliminate that winding noise coming from the power steering. So right now I'm going to unhook everything and then we're going to do the last procedure and see if this power steering winding is going to go away. So now you're going to look inside of the reservoir and make sure that you're still not having a lot of bubbly fluid in there, because if you do, you're going to have to repeat the step with the vacuum and turning the steering back and forth again until you get rid of all them bubbles from inside. So now we're going to top off the fluid and proceed to the next procedure. Okay, so next you're going to drop the vehicle back down on its wheels. Then we're going to check our fluid level. Put the cap back on. Make sure it's on the mark where it should be. It's at the minimum, so I'll top it off a little bit more. Okay, it's within where it should be now. I'm going to cap it off. Then we're going to start it. And we're going to turn the steering slowly all the way to one end, hold it there for 2 seconds, turn it all the way to the other end, hold it there for 2 seconds, repeat it for about 10 to 15 times, and then see if our noise is going away, and then we'll do a road test and see if we fix this winding power steering noise once and for all. Okay, we're going to start it now. Then we're going to turn the steering back and forth about 10 to 15 times, slowly. I can still hear it winding. You hold it to the end for 2 seconds. Okay, I still hear that noise. It's not gone away. I guess the only thing left to do now is test drive it and see if it'll go away. My goodness, after all of that bleeding on the power steering fluid, it still does that. That's crazy. We shall see what happens. I'm going to take it for a nice long run and bring it back. If it doesn't go away, I'm just going to park it up, leave it till tomorrow, check it again. On acceleration, when I turn, I don't hear the noise. Well, man, I just finished test driving it. I can hear it winding under the hood right now without even turning the steering. I can hear it. It's winding. If I accelerate, I hear it less. If I turn all the way to the end, you can hear it there. At idle, you can hear it more. At 2,000 RPMs, I'm not hearing it so much, but it still whines. It doesn't completely go away. So I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I'm getting defective parts. Here's your rack and pinion gear control valve. Take this out and clean it up real good. Test the solenoid, make sure it's working. Make sure the valve is working. There's a couple of screws here that goes one here and one there. Then you have 4 more screws right here that goes onto the rack and pinion, and you have 3 little seals, O-ring right here that goes onto the rack and pinion. Make sure you put new ones on there so you don't have a leak here. You have another seal right here. You can change that out too. Then you get brake cleaner, and just flush it through these holes. Okay. I already did this already, so I don't want to do it again. Also, here is this right here. It's a little strainer. Make sure you take that out and clean it and put it back in. It's so tiny, easy to get blocked by power steering debris. It goes into this little hole right here. Okay? It's a cup, so you put the bottom of the cup inside the hole. I got shop here, so I'll blow through it. Make sure I blow it out, all the brake cleaner out. Spring-loaded valve inside here. Yeah, I already cleaned this. This is clean. I'm putting this back together. So I have the little strainer right here. I'm just going to give it a little bit more cleaning now that I have it outside. Then I'm going to blow it out. Hold on to this tight. Okay. And then we're going to put that in there. Just like that. It's in that hole like that. Sure your valve is working. Then you need to do a test on your solenoid valve, which I already did on this, to make sure that this goes in and out, that it's working. It goes in, goes out, this little pin right here. Put the screw back in, then you put the other 4 screw onto the rack and pinion. So just how you, that's all you got to do is clean this out. Make sure it's nice and clean, put it back on. So the little screw, that's a number 4 hex, 4mm hex screw. Okay, and the bigger one, that one goes there. This one here is, let's see, the bigger one is 5mm hex. That's what you need. So right there on the rack and pinion is where that control valve is mounted on the side. Doesn't have much room here at all. I spent a whole hour trying to take 4 bolts off and put it back on. Very tight. I think maybe that pressure hose back there could be the problem. It's a brand new hose. Someone else put that on, so I don't know what it was like before. It has a restrictor here. Right here in this clamp inside of the hose have a piece of metal with a hole in it, and the hole is smaller than the hose, the hole that the hose has. And I'm thinking maybe that could be defective, or the hole is too small in there and it's restricting the fluid and cause it to aerate on this side, on the other side. When it's running and you hold on to this hose right here, you can feel the vibration in this hose, and if you touch anywhere else you wouldn't feel any vibration. So I'm thinking maybe the pressure hose could be the problem here. At this point this is an experiment anymore. I don't know if anybody else find the problem and fixed it. If anybody did, please comment. Let me know, what did you do to fix this problem? Because so far I fixed all the leaks, and it used to overflow here. Now it's not doing that anymore. So I fixed a problem, but I cannot fix the noise. I've bled the system in every which way I know how. I even did the dealer procedure in bleeding the system, which kind of sounds crazy to me, but I did it anyhow, and it still did not fix the problem. I left it sit overnight, and it's still there. So I can't fix this noise problem on this vehicle.